Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Trinity and I'm here with Eddie. We're doing our weekly chat and Eddie's setting up the chair and setting up the little stand, and we're just going to just improv, really. Like, what we've been talking about is our own progression in our life individually, and how our spirituality and our connection with the divine and with the unseen, which can be seen actually if you open your eyes, is so instrumental in our journey. So, like, what we've been talking about is how we can hold resentments, I suppose, in our lives, and how we can bring people with us on our journey in our minds and project our own sadness, our own insecurities, and we can put it out on others and blame others, where realistically we have to see our own downfall in the reality, and how we can on reflection really toggle up and really see that, like, once we can heal ourselves and we can see how we have played a part in that dynamic with people, that's where the healing is. I'm going to put... No, let's put my phone, because I'm recording on this right now. So here's Eddie setting up everything. Oopsies.
And making mistakes.
Making mistakes. Well, they're not mistakes, really. So I cut my hair, and the reason why I cut my hair is because it was feeling really, even though my dreads were new, it felt too OTT. It felt just too much for me. And I didn't go into a place where before I would have just cut it and regretted it afterwards. I really put thought into it. I really put thought into, like, what am I going to feel like afterwards? How is this going to affect me? Am I just jumping on an emotion and trying to change my physicality? And so yeah, I cut my hair. Are we going to put that on?
You have to put it sideways.
Oh, I don't want to put it sideways. Can we rest it? Oh, I know what we can do. We can just rest it.
Okay.
So let's get it set up. Oh, that's cute.
Horizontal.
Yeah, I think we could actually bring it further in. Further in, closer in. So we're having a few cannies again. How bad?
Yeah, better lighting, I suppose.
I think we should put on the light.
Yeah, nice combination of lighting.
Oh, that's much better. So this is his beautiful backdrop. I like the way it kind of curves in here, Eddie.
Yeah,
it's really nice. It's curving right in towards us.
It's the Triskelion, the triple spiral, the
like, close the window because there's a lot of noise outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we were talking about. Like, just these really sensitive parts of us that we can carry with us on a daily basis. Resentment and people that have maybe hurt us in the past, and what was our part to play in that? What was it that I can rectify in myself to prevent such heartache? And what was my part to play in that? It's a very, very big part of the human story, I think, is carrying resentment and carrying that burden from the past.
It's like memories of past experiences can be like baggage or hooks, or, you know, on eterical levels, where you could have like an eterical hook attached to you by someone who you don't really want to have an association or attachment by, but it's the resentment or the unresolved issues that you have between each other energetically.
Yeah, and it plays round and round and round, even when you least expect it.
And because there's that energetic ethereal hook, it creates this constant feed of thoughts coming into your field of energy, into your mind. Even though you don't want to be thinking these thoughts, you just want to be clear-minded, you want to be free of it. the reason why these thoughts are coming in is because of that etherical hook. And that's your consciousness telling you, hey, there's an issue here. Hello, you have to deal with this. Address this. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with baggage. That like emotional baggage. Then where it's just it's an etherical emotional weighing you down, like holding a shoulder boulder over the shoulder, a carrier. Like
when you say etherical, how do you mean by etherical?
Well,
I know what you mean, but just to
the energy would be like you have multiple aspects to yourself. You have the physical form, you have the etherical form,
so it plays out in your reality.
Yeah,
until you get it.
You're multidimensional beings, so you have multidimensional aspects to all that you are. It's not just a physical.
I know that's easy to say. We've multiple multidimensional aspects of us, but let's explain to the viewer like what you actually mean by that. Well, let's not take it for granted that they know what you're talking about.
There's your physical form. Obviously, your physical body. You have your energy body, which you can discover through like we are torsion fields. You have energy streaming in your body, and you have energy streaming out your body simultaneously to create a spherical apple-shaped torus field.
Yeah.
And that's your energy body. That's your energy field. You have your astral body, which is connected to an etherical cord, like an umbilical cord, like when you're having as a child with your mother. It's like that, but like you can travel anywhere outside of your body and still be attached etherically to this cord, the silver cord. If you've seen Donnie Darko, that's a good representation of it, like, and you can like travel astrally. When I say astrally, like out of body, and you can go anywhere,
through meditation or sleep.
And you can go through time, you can go to other dimensions, other realities, astral planes, where they're like pocket realities that were created by the collective conscious for training and developmental purposes, as well as potential manifesting realities into your reality. Like, so it's like say when we have dreams and we use our imagination, we create these astral planes in order to test them out. Are they theoretically good? Are they something desirous? Do you really want to bring this into a manifestation? And before it manifests into your personal reality or manifests into your actual physical third density reality, it has to go to your own superconscious approval that yes, this is going to be good for me, or yes, this is something I want to experience, or yes, I want to make this, create this. Okay. And you create it on the astral plane first as a testing ground before you bring it into the real reality, and then it just manifests. And
do you think that there's also the hires, the teams that we have around us that have a part to play when we astral travel? I mean, you say there that like we have these experiences to be able to have, I presume you were saying, the best 3D life that we can have. But do you feel that also that you're powerless, that when you're in the astral that they put these lessons upon you, that it's a college of knowledge, that it's a place that they put you through tests in the 3D and also in the astral, that you literally have no control?
Well, it depends. Like, I mean, there's a great deal of it where your soul is really, really, really powerful and really, really efficient and capable, and your soul knows what it wants to experience. Your soul knows what it wants to
That's
learn
what I was
through
getting at.
your experience, and your soul isn't alone. Your soul is the ocean of other souls.
Yeah.
And we all could, on other levels, like they all openly communicate, openly converse, and when we do that, we gain inspiration from each other. We theorize on potential lessons, and we're like, imagine having a conversation like this, and you make a suggestion like, "Oh, I had this experience, and it was so enriching and so fulfilling. I'm so glad I had that experience." And then your higher self or your astral self or whatever would be like, "Oh, really? How did you go about it? Like what experience path did you go to gain that experience?" And then you'd be like, "All right, I'm going to set something up like that for myself."
So, like, you go through a 3D experience with somebody, let's just say, and you come away from it and you process it and it's very enlightening and you can see that it's very constructive in your life.
Yeah.
Then you go into the astral and that they want to know, how did you do that?
No, it's the other way around. It's backwards. It's like you communicate with your other, like your higher self. My higher self would be in communication on levels beyond this physical.
We know this happens.
You know, and they're the ones setting up our 3D experience before we have our 3D experience.
Right, okay.
And a lot of that is done during sleep time, during dream time.
So with the chicken and the egg, that is literally the chicken.
Yeah, giving birth to the egg that we are, the birthed chick.
Yeah.
You know, of idea, of experience, of potential, of manifestation. You know, the 3D is the lowest manifestation experience level, you know. And on the higher levels, the information transfer, the communication transfer is way faster.
I know that.
It's like
yeah, like I look forward to going to bed. I look forward to going to sleep. I look forward to going into that astral realm. You know? It's such an escape.
And you can...
It's so freeing.
You can develop the ability to become lucid and cognitive, where you become conscious of these travels and you become conscious of that exchange of communication and all of that. Like, but at another level, like, you must understand that when you're in the astral planes and you're traveling around the astral realms, or even traveling around the 3D reality just in like a ghost state, astral form, you know, and just going wherever you want at instant thought, you're there. You know, you think about a place or a person, you're right there with them.
So you're conscious in your dreaming state? I wouldn't be. I haven't got to that level.
Yeah, you develop it, like.
Okay, so you can command it and ask to go to certain
control,
places.
Yeah, well, like just a dream state.
So it's lucid.
Yeah, you train yourself to become lucid, like, and it's like beta brainwave activity, like on a scientific scale. But you have to also understand that the consciousness that you're utilizing while astral traveling, there's a higher consciousness aspect of you or portion of you that is also operating with you in tandem at a higher, greater scale. That it's actually working with you for you to know where to go or know what to do or know what to look at or go or experience.
In your 3D.
In your astral...
but inevitably...
Yeah, it like, you have to think of, like, when you look at ourselves as a multidimensional being, you have to look at us like we're like an illumination or a fractal layer cake of different colors, you know, that like the 3D is the physical, then you can have like the blue ray, green ray, red ray, purple ray, violet ray, you know, and it's all the one being. And each ray is a different level of your consciousness and a different level of operational awareness. And all of it's working simultaneously for you. And all the different scales and levels of it.
And where do you think the collective consciousness is now within that colour palette?
Well, with the star seeds and the light beings and the evolution of the basic consciousness of humanity, it's all like we're literally rainbow beings. Like, I mean, like, we literally have the full coloured spectrum of consciousness.
So we're experiencing so much in every moment.
Depending on the developmental level of your soul, which will determine your frequency of light coded expressionism, your light coded information. Like, it's like gaining a new badge of achievement by gaining a new level of colour emanation, you know, of the fractality of the totality of your being.
And you should be able to see this in your 3D on an actual level.
You can use technology and
where we are being successful, we are being able to
like, well, you can see,
conquer,
like, some people have
demons, conquer the dark side of ourselves.
Well, yeah, some people have auric vision where they can see auras of people, they can see their energy, their emanation, they can see all of that, like, and I don't have that gift, like, I haven't developed it, you know, but I have been able to do it with
I can see certain aura, but it's a grey colour. I can't really see colours, but I can see an aura around people. But
well, yeah, I can see a white.
There are people that can see.
I can see a white
total illumination around people.
Yeah, like I'm not like a, but I can see like a white aura around people, a white energy band around people. But in nature now, I have seen the full, like, energetic emanation of plants.
And was that dependent on where you're at in your spiritual self in that moment in time?
I was high vibe as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like pure vegetarian for about 2 years, eating only fruit, like watermelon every day. You know, just like pure, like pure holistic, like, as fuck.
And do you remember what your dreams were like?
Since
we're speaking about the astral realm.
Back then?
Yeah.
When I had that, like, that time,
Were you fighting demons off? Because
No,
I know you
no,
were.
no, 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 no. Everything was positive. Everything was high vibe. Everything was love, light, positivity.
So you were waking up like refreshed. And
every day, like jumping out of the bed with a big smile on your face,
Yeah.
like ready to like
Yeah.
experience the day.
ready to conquer the day
Yeah, you know.
or experience
pure,
the day.
pure high vibe.
Yeah.
But like once I reached the peak of that, then like I crashed. Big. I couldn't sustain it.
Yeah.
And I crashed. And
that's very sad to experience.
we
isn't
all
it?
do it. I think most of us have reached that peak state, and then we just end up crashing because the system of the parameters of the world we're living in isn't supporting that high level state of being.
True.
But
there is, if we want it, YouTube is a fantastic modality for that.
Those parameters, those limitations that have been imposed upon us are lifting. Every day, more and more different things they're being lifted. So eventually we will be able to regain that high vibe state of constant every day where everything is like illuminated and magical all the time, and the system will
unrealistic for now. Unrealistic to have that all the time.
Yeah.
Now I know
without trying, like, you know.
I know that you and me, we went through the same thing together, but separate. We didn't even know each other 3.5 years ago.
No.
That it was a case of that. I experienced my sleep realm and my reality being exactly incongruent with each other, where things were very magical, very 5D all of the time.
Yeah.
And then to come off that isn't it?
It's pure
there's
withdrawal. It's like,
no. There's such a sadness to it, like.
Yeah, you feel
there
like
really is such a sadness to it. It's like,
fell
why?
into hell or something, and it's like, why?
Yeah. Can I not get back there? And I really feel that there's people out there that must have gone through exactly the same.
Yeah, they have. I know they have.
Experience at exactly the same time as we have. For us to come together, and be living in the same vicinity and experiencing the same thing, it must be the same case.
Oh yeah, it is
around the world.
Definitely, because I'm on Twitter now, like, and I like my list of followings and followers are literally all like all other people have, like, we've all been on this journey, like we're like
withdrawals,
soul family, like and we were all able to like be there for each other during those times, and
thank goodness for the internet.
Yeah, thank God for the internet, like,
for technology,
because we
let's not resist it.
As we as ascending and awakened beings, or whatever you want to label it as, we've been very secluded, very separated, very scattered all over the world, but because, and thanks to the advent of the internet, like, we were all able to connect with each other, and we have been telepathically and psychically picking up
unconsciously and telepathically
on each other, like,
connected.
but we weren't able to have vocal and visual communication with each other, like, consciously in our 3D reality, like, but thanks to this, we
I know exactly.
So
absolutely, there's a lot to embrace, there's a lot to celebrate.
Yeah.
With our internet system.
But
I do know what I do without it. Can you imagine what would happen, if the grid goes down and we don't have that fucking form of connection where we can go onto YouTube?
Yeah.
But if that is the way it's meant to be, then that is the way it's meant to be.
I'm developed enough of myself to be completely comfortable with that. Like, I could be alone, no problem, for forever if I wanted to, like, and be completely comfortable, like.
Well, I'm lucky that I've got you as a neighbour that we can.
Yeah, I know. Sure.
My head's wrecked, man. Let's go foraging.
I've literally.
Let's go foraging.
There's
no food. There's rations. There's everything. Let's go and.
I live off the land. I know. I was like raised by a very cultural man. Like, like, he lives off the land. Like, he taught me all that stuff. Like, so I'm grand that way. Like.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, like, psychologically, your mental health.
There it is.
That's the main thing, and I've been to the depths of insanity, like, and like, a lot of us, and I'm not the only one,
a lot of us
have been like driven to what like mainstream like psychology would label as schizophrenia or bipolar, or there's a label for everything.
I know. It's pineal gland activation.
It is, and it's like becoming aware of your multidimensionality, becoming aware of the greater expanded you. And that comes off as schizo, or different personalities, multi-personality disorder, but it's not. It's multiple personalities in order. It's the difference.
Ooh,
And
nice.
It's just
multiple personalities in order.
Yeah, because you're aware of
lovely.
each other. You know, you're
Yeah.
aware of the different aspects.
And your surroundings.
Yeah.
And the way it responds
And
to your thoughts.
Yeah,
and your feelings.
You're able to function perfectly, like most days now, like as you know, like I could sit here and I do sit here, and I have full-blown conversations with myself, like
I know,
and it's just complete revelation after revelation after revelation, and it's just epiphany after epiphany, and it's like pure dictation, you know, because like once it's finished, and I'm like, I'm going to bed then. You know, it's done.
This man always seems to have a smile on his face. It's fantastic. I can suffer from anxiety, you know, and fear, but it's very temporary. It's momentary, and to be able to express that and be understood is a gift. To have connections and to have tribe that are there, that can understand, that can comprehend, that can empathize, and that can just be that point of just someone to just be there, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Not someone to... There's no rescuer. There's no solution as such.
No.
There's nobody that can help you or assist you when you're in that zone, bar yourself and your connection with your higher self and your higher team.
Well, yeah, that's because like a lot of us have been like, not most of us.
God, if you want to call it.
Have been conditioned
Goddess.
to look for the savior, look for the hero, look for the knight in shining armor, look for the someone to save me. You know, the quick access, easy exit key.
Yeah, which isn't really.
But we are our own saviors. We are our own heroes. We are our own knights in shining armor.
With our team.
We're our own everything, you know. We're our own victim, we're our own hero, we're our own abuser, we're our own everything, you know. And it's only by taking that full responsibility of all those perspective aspects of ourselves, then it prevents it from manifesting outside of ourselves and other people, so that they don't end up taking a portion of our shadow and embodying that aspect and becoming an abuser. By integrating and accepting and processing and dealing with our own shit, then you'll never ever have any issues with anybody, because they're not embodying.
And that's such a long journey to be able to deal and process our own shit.
I'm still going through it, like
yeah,
you know, and I've been fucking working like a cunt at this shit for like 10-20 years now, like, so, you know. That's
a big gap between 10 and 20 years, but I know what you mean.
Well, but like both 15 to 17 years, like,
yeah,
you know, of self-development, like, so it's like, it's still a journey, like, it's still undergoing.
Well, this devil energy, this occult energy, this devil force that they talk about, whatever, right? Yeah, right. He's only taking the piss.
Yeah,
like.
I know, yeah.
That really is the collective shadow. It's not one entity, I feel, that is
I've got
you know, one entity that is puppeting the strings. It's our collective shadow that people cannot and will not look at.
Yeah.
And I feel that is where we're at in this moment in time, is people are being brought to their knees in whatever shape or form through COVID, which is a huge lesson for the people to really go into the place of gratitude and to be able to self-reflect.
To stand up and put their foot down and say, no, enough is enough.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there isn't this devil entity as such.
No.
It's our collective holding of this negligence.
There is no devil, there is no
shadow
Satan.
Work.
There's none of that. There really isn't. Like, it's just an aspect of our own consciousness that we've rejected.
And add it all up together, and here we are.
Blame the devil for all the evil of the world, and Jesus is going to save us all. You know, it's like,
well, the Jesus in ourselves is going to save us all.
Consciousness is the light.
Exactly.
Like, Christ means love. You know, so it's the love inside us that's going to save us.
Yeah.
You know,
and that lack of love will make us want love even more.
Like Satan, the devil, is literally Saturn, the planet Saturn, and he is the planet. It's Chronos. It's the planet of slow, methodical progress, slow, methodical, hard lessons, tough structure. He's like the father who, you know, like if you fell and scratched your knee, tough love. If you fell and scratched your knee, he's not going to come over and say, "Oh baby, oh child."
Unfortunately, not.
He's literally just going to sit there and say, "Get up," and keep going.
There's for and against that kind of parenting. You know what I mean? Like we're sanding off the edges, the hard edges.
The mother is the one that comes in and kisses the boo boo and put the slap.
Yeah, but like we talked before about the divine masculine and the divine feminine in the self. It's to be able to be a fatherly role to your children and to others, to be nurturing, but also to be assertive and to be, come on, get back up, but I love you.
That's to embody both.
That is what the ultimate divine masculine is going to be, is I'm not going to enable you, that you're going to do it again just to get my love.
Fucking enablers.
You know, you're not going to fake being hurt just to get my attention. But I'm going to be loving, but yet again strict at the same time.
If you have any enablers in your life, then you need to just like cut them out, because they're not there to support
Explain
you.
enablers to people.
Like, say now if you were in a group setting of like a group of friends, and one of them was being a dick to you, and you had another friend who was like not really acknowledging his dick behavior but making excuses for him, or not standing by you and recognizing he's being a dick, and like standing beside you and saying, yeah dude, you're being a dick, cop on, like, that he's actually like sitting there going, but he's not that bad, like, get over it, like, stop being a bitch, like.
It's so intricate.
And it's like, that's an enabler. Like, they're not standing anywhere. They're not taking a stance. They're not being representative of you or the other person, or even for themselves. They're just there to be a slipstream between, and they're completely absolved from responsibility, and they're just dicks, really.
I just let it off. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, just ignore.
Let's not go into it because it's uncomfortable. We don't want to talk about it.
But at the same time, even if the
let's
enabler,
let it slide.
If the enabler then gets victimized by the same guy, and he's not going to do anything, he's just going to let him abuse him.
And maybe that person is afraid of that character in case they get picked on.
Yeah,
it's
fear. It's fear. It's not having the balls to fucking to say,
it
hey,
takes
cop the fuck on.
Exactly, assertive people.
Yeah,
assertive people to not tolerate that behaviour. Absolutely. And
that's the manly aspect. Like, I mean, they call it like toxic masculinity, but it's not toxic masculinity. It's like if someone's being a dickhead, you fucking put them in their place. Hey, you're being a dickhead. Cop the fuck on.
It's how you put it, exactly.
Well, yeah, you can be, intelligent and finessed about it, like, and graceful about it.
Well, that's the ultimate, really, isn't it?
But that takes lessons in
to be able to stand in and say, hey, there's a situation here. Yeah. We've got to talk about it. I know it's going to take a bit of time. I know you're not fucking willing to go there.
Yeah,
it's not comfortable. But let's sit down and talk about this.
Let's get real.
What's going on here? Yeah. What are the dynamics? What's the psychology that's going on here?
What are you
feeling? Why are you behaving this way?
Where's this coming from?
It's not making people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Do you want to change your ways? We're here for you. We're here as a support network. We're here as a group. Let's talk this thing through.
We're all friends here. We're sometimes even family, and it's like we're all here to have a good time. Why are you being a dickler? Why are you making this all about you?
Or an uncomfortable time. Let's have an uncomfortable time. Let's see how we can be in an uncomfortable time. Let's not always chase the good times. Let's always be in the modality or the mindset that like we want to sort this out. It might change the vibration of the party or of the group setting. This might be uncomfortable, but let's just put fun on hold for a moment. And let's just talk about what's going on right here. I spot a dynamic. I spot something that's toxic. And let's get it out of the way. And then we can go back into...
Yeah, that's very beautiful. I mean...
being fun.
For an example, with that idea, say like you have the session on the Saturday night, because that's usually what people do. Like, have the party Saturday night, good times, focus on the happy and the good times, full on. And then Sunday, when everybody's all like, ugh, then use the Sunday then to everybody get together and deal with their issues.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That'd be a brilliant idea.
That would be amazing. Because that's pure tribal.
Because then,
that's beautiful, babe.
Because people then they won't have the energy to keep up the drunken aggro that they had the night before. But then they can be just sit there and nice and calm, like smoke biffs or whatever, like just like talk it out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That'd be great. But
I know.
Most people Most people have the Saturday night and then like you don't see them the next day, or like because of the party pooper or the fucking drama queen that you end the night early. I was very blessed to be in tribal settings,
where there was a fire always lighting, and there was the yurt in the background, and there were the children being breastfed and all the rest of it, and it was very beautiful. However, what I saw was there was that lack of
Open
sitting
communicate.
around as a group talking about the scenarios and the incidences that needed to be talked about. And that is a euphoric, that is a utopian scenario.
That's incredibly healing and open and honest, heart-to-heart, open, honest communication. And that's what's lacking. Most of us are all like ego-driven in our heads. Well, I'm not going to talk to him because he was a dick to me last night. Fucking
That stuff.
That stuff.
That
But if you
stuff.
go into your heart and say, look, you know,
Hey man,
yeah.
what about last night?
But I mean,
let's talk about last night.
yeah, just
what
because
were you
you're
feeling?
just because you're in your heart.
What do you need to say to me?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just because you're in your heart and you're full of love doesn't mean you're a little bitch. Doesn't mean you're a pushover. I mean, the lion is in the heart, and he fucking roars. You know, don't tread on the fucking Lion King, like.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But that lion needs to express that and needs to be a leader.
And we need to be all our own leaders. You know.
And say this and express this and be able to demand conclusions and solutions to every single scenario that comes up within the group. And this is regardless if you're in a tribe, if you're just in a setting where you're in the Matrix and you go out on a weekend, that you can sit down on a Monday or a Sunday and be able to go back on everything that has happened in your week, in your weekend, and be able to text, or if you're lucky, face to face, where you can build up this family beautiful connection where you can say, listen, you expressed this and I felt this way. Are you okay? I love you no matter what you're going to say. It doesn't matter how paranoid it sounds. It doesn't matter how distorted it sounds. Let's talk about it. So you're not going into your week where you're carrying this stuff around with you.
Big baggage of shit.
And it gains momentum.
Mm-hmm.
It gains momentum.
It ruins your week. You're in your head the whole week and you're just thinking back the weekend. You're going, fuck him, fuck her, fuck this, fuck that. And it's totally unnecessary. It's unnecessary contamination. That's toxic baggage. It's not.
Exactly.
There's not really toxic behavior.
Get rid of it on a Monday.
You know. You see, how do things turn toxic? Because they start to rot.
It's neglected.
Well, they start to rot because of neglect or unappropriatization.
Feed on it.
You know.
Unappropriated what it?
Unappropriatization, like you're not appropriatizing it and associating it and putting it where it needs to go, dealing with it. You know. So it's
where it needs to go is actually look at it and talk to the person about it.
I mean, life is life. I mean, you can't plan on the experiences that you're going to have in life, but you can deal with it there afterwards. You know, you can appropriatize how you handle it. You know, and it's when you only gain toxic baggage because you haven't taken the time or the responsibility to deal with it or appropriatize it or process it. You know, do what you need to do, say what you need to say, to put it where it needs to go. And it's a lot of take on, integrate, process, release and let go. You know, and it's a flow. You know, you have to do the flow.
It is.
Otherwise, you're holding on to it. Resentment, hatred, anger, fear, loathing.
Yeah,
sadness.
and the risk is, I suppose, why people resist. Is there's a risk in approaching somebody about a scenario that has happened, because the person that wants to express this and wants to come to some kind of conclusion, is they're afraid of being talked about, being ostracized,
ego,
being picked
issues,
on,
it's ego issues,
being picked on. Exactly, all ego issues.
I love the ego. I love my ego. I have a very healthy relationship with my ego identity.
You do.
You know, the ego is not the problem. It's not knowing how to handle your ego is the problem. You know, what's the ego want? What's the ego need? You know, and it's usually because of the neglect or the false association and understanding of the ego that creates all this baggage and juju and bullshit. I mean, everything is emotional at its core start. And then if you get sick or you develop a disease or a dis-ease or some sort of physiological ailment, it's because of psychological or emotional baggage that you haven't dealt with. I mean, that's the only reason why people get sick.
It'll keep on coming back around again
and
for
it
you
gets
to get
worse and worse. You know, it could literally kill you. Like,
Yeah.
unresolved anger can kill you. Unresolved pain and suffering and sorrow and anguish and all that. That's the source of sickness and disease that will take you out in the end. And then you just get the refresh button. Then you reincarnate and you have another life chance opportunity.
Have to do it again.
Do it again. You're going to go to the.
So you're better off doing this work now.
Yeah, you have only now, you know, because otherwise you're going to have to repeat the same fucking shit. Because you're going to, like, your soul is going to say, right, that aspect of my consciousness didn't learn the lessons it needed to learn in order for me to grow and expand.
And they're ignoring the dream state.
So I'm going to have to reincarnate a portion of my physical, or like physically incarnate again, and put myself through the exact same situations with different places, different people, but the exact same situations and circumstances in order to have the opportunity to learn the lessons.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why we're here.
Now, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
And
I'm going to...
first.
Oh, really? Well, let me just say...
I'll be quicker.
Eddie is a fountain of knowledge, okay? And I've identified this in him. And I've said to him that he needs to start a YouTube channel, his own YouTube channel. And he was supposed to do one, he wanted to do one on Wednesday night, and he didn't do it. He didn't feel that the time was there for him. But I feel that he's of a lot of assistance for people out there. So I'm going to go to the toilet and we're going to leave him talk and see what he comes out with. But he's going to have to keep on talking, so let's just see what he's like. I know what it's like when I first started my YouTube channel. It was so scary. It was scary to just turn it on and talk about whatever, just flow, whatever I needed to talk about. And this man, he does the work, like, he really does the work. So let's see what he talks about. We've got to keep it on, so let's see. Babe, you're going to have to keep on talking while I go to the bathroom.
Oh no, I can't do that.
So there you go, you have to keep it going.
Yeah,
keep talking to the people.
Well, in regards to modern day issues with this COVID stuff and the masks and all this kind of crap, like, I mean, it really comes down to where you all feel about it. I mean, myself and Trinity can sit here and talk about anything and everything till the band comes home and for whom the bell tolls, you know, but it's about ye, it's about us, it's about the journey, it's about us together, working collectively, individually, towards what we want. We want happiness, we want freedom, we want liberty, we want joy, we want love, we want all the meaningful things in life. And how do we gain these things? Well, they're already ours. It's just we have these challengers, we have these tests, we have these oppressors who are there to test our resolve, to test how strong we can be. You know, there is no bad guy, there is no enemy in the closet or goblin under the bed or boogeyman. You know, it's all our own insecurities, it's all our own challenges, it's all our own juju. And we have to own that, take responsibility of that, and it can only take us as far as we're willing to go. And you're going to have these individuals like the Cabal, the Illuminati, the Illuminatis.
Come on!
All of these systems that are set up. I mean, now it's getting ridiculous to the point where there's oppression for the COVID. It's literally like, as a friend mentioned today, it's like V for Vendetta, where it's like, oh, now we're going to have like curfew at 10 o'clock and you can't be out and about. Take a look at the camera with the glasses on. Just look amazing.
He loves me. He loves me with the glasses on.
She looks very like a school teacher. She looks amazing, like. And it's like with the COVID and all that, like that's just another test. It's literally just another test for our resolve. Are we going to take it in the ass again and continue taking it in the ass? Oh, would you like me to suck your dick while I'm down there, sir? That's what people are like these days. But all to just get back to normalcy and normality. And, oh, I just want to continue my 9 to 5 and go back to my sports and my fucking radio shows and my TV, my EastEnders and my Home and Away. And it's like, This is your opportunity to find what really matters in life, to discover your skills, your arts, your desires, your passions.
Ooh, lovely.
Because now you're forced into seclusion, you're forced into a change of your modality. This is where you discover you're an artist. This is where you discover
Go on, Eddie!
that you're a poet, that you're a writer, that you have a passion for a specific kind of music, and like classical music or something, or like you're a metalhead and you never knew it, or
processing yourself, or getting to know yourself.
Yeah, well, that's
you know what I mean? The stuff that we have done over the past few years. Not saying that you're not doing that. You know
that is
what I mean?
getting to know yourself. I mean, the only difference between one person who's going to become like a professional footballer or a professional artist or musician is because, well, you never had the opportunity to pick up the instrument.
True.
You never know, like, that you could have that skill and you would never know because you never had the opportunity to explore it.
Yeah.
But now you do.
So you have to find the blessings in where we're at right now and make the most of it.
That's it. Like, in every situation in life, it's a blessing. Life is a blessing. You know? It's really how you look at it. You know? You can look at it as a challenging curse, or you could be like, oh, woe is me, life is so hard.
Yeah.
You know? But like, you're singing the old song, like, you know?
Absolutely. How did you get into this while my back was turned? How did you get into the swing of were you talking about the occult?
No, I was talking about the masks, you know.
Yeah. This is something that really plays on your mind, isn't it?
Well, it's just...
it's on everyone's fucking mind,
it's not
for fuck's
personal
sake.
to me. Like, it's
this
literally...
This is the global story.
Yeah, this is where we
are. And what we were saying was, we were both out separately today in our local town, and we were looking at things different. There wasn't as many people came up in our perception of wearing masks. Yeah. There wasn't that many. Well, not that I'm saying that there wasn't that many. There still is loads.
And they're smiling. You know, there's smiles behind those masks.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Now, this is what I want to say about the masks. We are not used to looking at each other in the eyes when we speak. And I feel we have to look at a positive in where we're at. And people in the past, I noticed, found it very, very hard to eye gaze. Now, I went to workshops, eye gazing workshops, which were very, very uncomfortable, where you sit in front of another person and you look into their eyes and you have no conversation and you just literally eye gaze, and it's very uncomfortable. And I would have found myself to be a person that would always have looked in someone's eyes, but even doing those workshops, it was so intensive and so excruciating to just stare into someone's eyes. And that's what I was saying to Eddie not so long ago, was that like that is a positive aspect that we can take out of this scenario. That people have to talk to each other and they are looking in each other's eyes. Yeah. And when you soul gaze, that's where the connection happens. And that's where the transference of files, whether it be it fear-based or love-based, there's a transaction that happens there.
Oh, yeah.
And we have this healing, beautiful, compassionate part of ourselves, whether we know it or not, that can look in another's eyes and see where the fear lies, and we can console that, whether that's conscious or unconscious. That we can, I think that's what's going on. We have to look at a positive outlook and a positive mentality of where we're at. It's so traumatic, it's so huge, like over since February, that we're just masked off, that we can't communicate properly, like it's muzzled, it's dangerous, it's dangerous to our body, but our eyes are talking to each other.
Yeah, there's that.
There's love exchange, there's empathy exchange, there's a communication that is exchanged through the eyes.
I've seen
that you can't get without the mask.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for people to like look at their feet, or like walk down the street, look at their feet, look at their phone, you know, all that. I see, like, that's really stopped now. Like, I don't see people walking around like interval like zombies going.
Really, is that what you're observing? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that like people wear the masks, like whether it's out of fear or whether it's out of like confidence or wherever they're coming from, they're literally like straightforward staring at each other in the eyes.
It's good practice.
They're looking for approval. They're looking for acceptance. They're looking for connection. They're looking
connection.
for
Yeah.
They're looking for, like, understanding. They're not alone in their fear. They're not alone in this fucking whole madness.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to give to the people who are wearing the masks, is that, like, they're there for each other. Like, they're able to look at each other and go, yes, we're doing something together.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie, yeah. And even though it's done under a complete fucking hoax,
yes, I know, but we have to look at the polar aspect.
It's giving people the opportunity to even unite even more, because I know by the end of this, like, people are going to feel far more connected, far more united.
It's true.
And the people that have instigated this, who wanted to put in this "are really in control" and stuff, they're going to regret it, because now it's going to, like, strengthen the collective unconscious, as it's called, and and it's going to bring the herd of the collective together, and are going to, like, finally look at their oppressors, look at their controllers, and say, hey, enough is enough. Like,
it's happening.
It is happening.
There's marches all over the fucking place. Go on, the marchers.
Yeah, they're, like, protests in Cork now and Dublin are constant every week, and they're really giving it to exactly where it needs to go, and they're not.
And we wouldn't have done this without COVID.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many matters that are being looked at.
Well, like, there was a lot of
We're
protests.
dealing with every fucking part of it. Like, there's no stone being left unturned with the heads of the marchers, of the protesters. I mean, we've got, I don't know what their names are, that are a part of the marches in Ireland, but, like, we're really standing up here in Ireland, and, like, fair play to the fucking heads that are running this. They're not leaving any, like, we're dealing with everything here. Everything. Like, all the corruptness.
There was a load of protests worldwide. China, like, America, England, France, the Yellow Vest movement, all of that was really propagating up, like, and it was getting out of their control. They couldn't handle it, because like, they were literally fucking, like, thousands and thousands of people. Like. So they introduced the virus. That's their attack back.
Well, they didn't introduce the virus. The virus has been fucking part of their plan for a long time.
Oh yeah, they've been planning this fucking for, like, 50s to 70 years.
Amazing. It all falls into place at the same time.
But their hands were pulled, like they were forced to do this. They weren't planning to do this virus release for another 4 or 5 years at least.
Don't you think?
No, I know, because anybody that has been watching these jackasses know their plan.
So they had to pull it out now.
They had to pull it out now because they did not plan.
The uprising is happening.
On things moving so fast, and they were like
the people awakening so fast.
Yeah, because like they had everything like planned out years and years and years ago, on a very drip control and introduction. But they're coming out with their intentions and their plans faster and faster and faster, and getting fucked over every step of the way, because we know what their plan is. They revealed everything to us, because they have to reveal their intentions in order to get that subconscious acceptance by the collective. That's the black magic they perform,
Say that again. They have to what?
They have to let you know what their plan is.
For?
The subconscious to accept it as a possibility to manifest into the reality.
Yeah.
And they do that through movies. They do that through the music, medias. They do it through television. They've been doing it. They've been hypnotizing people in
that's the Matrix.
With the Matrix for years, and people haven't had a fucking clue about it. Like, that's why everyone's coming out like, oh, take the red pill for the Matrix.
But we're lucky that we have watched the movies, that we are prepared.
Yeah, because now there's people actually now making a study case out of all these films to look for the subliminal messaging, to look for the like what movie was it now that came out like. And it was just like people wearing masks in it.
There's been so many.
Well, yeah, like literally, like V for Vendetta is like
we were only watching it the other night. We were like, we're in the fucking movie.
Yeah, and there's people on Twitter like even saying it, like England is like fucking like an episode like from the V for Vendetta. Like it's literally like that now. Like
I've no qualms in saying this, but like I took ecstasy last week, and they were like they were V ecstasy tablets. I don't take pills that often, like very, very rare. The last time I took it was like years ago.
The anonymous mask.
They were the anonymous mask.
Yeah.
And you have the anonymous mask
I totally
in the house as well.
I had to get that
it's
trophy.
like that's where we're at, And
It's a
I
trophy.
remember when I was like in the pits of my darkness of just wanting, I wanted the end. I won't lie to you. I wanted the end. I wanted
Blow
I
up
wanted
Parliament.
Armageddon. Like I was praying for it. Like, going through Hades and seeing the darkness, that I wanted to see the House of Parliament blown up.
Yeah.
And then to watch the movie last Sunday night and watch it. Like,
Brilliant.
I'm glad that I'm not back in. Like, if that's what's to happen, then that's what's to happen. You know,
well,
we
it's not gonna
can't
get blown
control.
up. It's not going to get blown up. It's just literally like people are going to just like fucking rise up. And these politicians and people in power now, they're old boys and old girls. They're not going to be fucking around for much longer. And the people that are going to replace them are going to be people who are
It's
for
true.
the people.
It's true.
They're not going to be
It's
replaced by
their own children
managed,
are on the
yeah,
move. Like,
yeah, well, like they're not going to be able to replace them with their what's the word?
or William Ways.
Well, yeah, well, like the what's it like prepped, not prepped, but and you know when you get like you train someone in, you know what's that called? There's a word they use like I even said it to myself today.
Initiate people.
Well, yeah, there's something like that. Like there's a word for it, like, but they don't have that. They don't, like, and the people that, like, because like people are awake and aware, like they know these heads. They know the heads of the psychopaths. They know their plans. They know the red flags.
Oh, we're well aware.
You know.
We're well
so
aware.
now, literally, this is the perfect time for people who
not
are
everyone, but you know.
the people that are for the people who are really heart-based consciousness people. They're going to step in and they're going to take these positions and they're going to change the system from the inside out.
I think that's awesome.
It's not going to burn. It's not going to collapse. It's just going to be reorganized.
I mean, that's very positive, and that's how I feel as well.
Well, we needed to have that way because if we did have society collapse, it'll just go into chaos, and we don't need that. We don't need chaos. We need compassionate order. You know.
Yeah.
You know, unity.
That's the way it was. Like 2 years ago, even a year ago, where I wanted anarchy.
Oh yeah, I wanted. We all wanted it. We wanted all to burn.
And now, in reflection, like looking back, the way to do it is peaceful protest, the Gandhi way. You know, stand in our numbers, stand in our power.
We need the protest.
Less is more, like less of this and less of action.
Like we need
to demand results. Demand answers in an orderly fashion.
Yeah, we have all the segments covered. Like we have our protesters, we have our spiritual community, we have our political and educated and influential people willing to do the work, willing to take the positions.
So many.
We have the common builders, workers, farmers, store workers. You know, everybody working together. You know. Because we want a better now, we want a better future.
Demand it.
You know, we like eventually we're not going to settle for anything less than optimism and optimist, the most optimistic fucking best result. You know, and we're just not going to settle for it anymore.
Well,
right?
you know what? Like the main thing for me that gets me through my day is my connection with God, with my higher self.
Oh yeah.
With the higher team.
It's divinely beautiful.
It's divinely steered, and it is divinely beautiful, and
you can't give it.
That's what I would say is if you are in that place of doubt, of fear, of hopelessness, to connect into your synchronicities, be very aware of your double digits that you see, 11, 11, 22, 22, things that are responding to your mind and your thoughts and your feelings, that these are guidelines and these are gateways to steer you on the right direction, to give you hope and to give you love and to give you inspiration,
energy, and the strength.
Because it's hard. It's really fucking hard in this place to stay on the path, of enlightenment, to stay on the path of truth and positivity. And no matter how dark you might feel and how dark you might see the world, to connect in and pay attention to those 11-11s, to pay attention to those 22-22s you see, like every time you're drawn to the phone, or every time that you're drawn to the writing on the wall, or some symbology that you see, because that's what the Cabal and the dark entities use. They use these modalities, they use symbology, they use the satellites. They use all these frequency satellites and writing and icons and all the rest of it to like let's take this back. These are ours. It's not theirs. These are ours. Like, don't see it as something that like they're in power and they're going to take it all down and we're going to be locked up and shut up. These are our synchronicities. These are our double digits. This is for us, not for them. The light wins. The light, it's, I know for a fact that the light wins. It's been written. It's been written in the Bible. It's been written in every prophecy. The light wins and they fail. So take any little bit of faith and hope that you get in your day when you feel so down and so downtrodden that they're winning. They're not winning. We're winning. We're the ones that are winning. We're the ones that can sit here and say, oh,
we're everything, you know?
I can look at people wearing a mask and see the light in it. I can see the positivity in it, that like we're eye gazing, we're transferring files with each other, we're smiling with our eyes where we haven't done before, where, you know what I mean, we can't see each other's mouths anymore. We can't really, it's muffled when we're talking, but we can see it in each other's eyes. We can see the light, and we can exchange that frequency
like
with each other.
Information, like
Exactly.
Exactly. But like, if you look at yourself like a warrior or a hero or just the average Joe, you know, it depends. Like, you have to understand, like, all these attacks on us, if you want to look at it as attacks, then you can think of it as like the hammer against the sword in a smittery, where all these oppressive limitations and aggressions against us, or oppressions or aggravations, you know, it's basically the smith's hammer smacking at our steel to sharpen our steel, to strengthen our steel, you know. Like, what good is a shield or a sword if it's paper thin, if it's weak, if it's like if the slightest impact is going to just fall apart, you know? That's not what we are. We are it. We are divine. We are all that is. We're everything, you know? And the whole point of all this is to get us to recognize that, to realize our strength, to recognize our potential, the power we hold, you know? They're not here to take our power. They're not here to oppress us. They're not here to...
Well, they want to.
Yeah, but they've just gotten away with it for so long now.
Not anymore, babe.
They've developed this idea that we're weak. They've developed the idea that we're just bitches and we're just going to take it, like, because we've lost that warrior, we've lost that inner spiritual warrior, we've lost that.
Well, we haven't because we're in it.
They've just tricked us into believing that we do. We have, like, because of complacency, because of the acceptance of the desire for peace at all costs, in the sense that we'll be willing to take anything to have our peace. We'll go through anything, we'll endure anything to have our peace. But they're swinging that hammer and we're that sword, we're that shield, and it's tempering us, it's toughening us up. It's only there to sharpen our blade, to strengthen our shield, so that we become and step up and become the warriors
exactly
that we are. And they're not the enemy. I mean, they're the ones, they're the schoolyard bully that beats you up to get you tough.
Sure.
Till you stand up to that bully, and what happens when you stand up to that bully? Bully disappears. Bully runs with his tail between his legs and goes and picks on somebody else. You know? Or else, you know?
And hopefully that somebody else has been watching us and will replicate what we've done.
Yeah,
you know, until it dies out.
But obviously the bully evolves and he recognises that his previous modality of approach doesn't work anymore, so he changes it up. I mean, they're not stupid.
Well, they have to soften, because if we don't tolerate it, then they have to soften, then they have to come to our way.
You have to look at that like the same way as like these individuals. 1 week it's a virus, the next week it is global warming, the next week it's recession, the next week it's lockdown and fucking, you know, oh, we're doing this for your protection because we care for you. You know, it's going to change every time until people realize and recognize what this is. You know, they're playing the part of the hammer and the smithy. We need to be the hammer and the smithy. We need to temper ourselves. We need to take that hammer off the smithy and say, I can do it myself. Thank you very much. I'm sovereign. I'm independent.
Go on.
I'm strong. I'm free. I don't need you. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
But goodbye.
Exactly.
Thank you for what you provided. You've shown me my shadow. You've embodied the ugly of humanity. You've embodied ego. You've embodied greed. You've embodied all the most nastiest aspects of human character. And I now recognize it in me. And I'm taking responsibility of it. So now you don't have to anymore.
Listen.
You're free.
We're going to end it on that. You can't, like, that's amazing. That's how we end it. Because we're already on an hour and 22 seconds.
Right, that's perfect.
But, like, that was perfect. I hope you agree.
Find the inner strength and inner power, because it's all us. It's all ours. They're just borrowing it to show it back at us. Saying, hey, this is what you're made of. Hey, this is what you have. Hey, this is what you can do. This is what you can be. But you don't have to. But just own it anyway. Because it's yours.
And this is why Eddie has to have his own YouTube channel.
I do.
You do. You have to start. You have to start. You know what I'm going to do?
In the shadows.
I think what I should do, right, just to get him on his track, is after this video, set up the video again and take me out of the picture and just leave him talk.
I'll do that some
So
more time.
please support him. But listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks a million for watching us. And this is us with our beers, our weekly chat with you. Our Friday night. So thanks for watching. And please give us a thumbs up, like and share if you care. Until the next time. Ciao, ciao.
Peace.